Star Wars 7x7 episode 2687. All right, yesterday was the fourth quarter and fiscal year 2021 Disney earnings report. There was, of course, some scripted commentary from the Disney powers that be. We'll talk about what they talked about here today. Punch it. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So tomorrow, of course, is the Disney Plus day. That's the big day where they're releasing a whole bunch of new content on Disney Plus. Hopefully there are surprises in the works. There was, some brief thing by Disney CEO Bob Chapek that kind of gave me the idea that, maybe there's something unannounced coming. I mean, fingers crossed. But nothing that you could really hang your hat on or anything like that. There wasn't actually a lot of straight up Star Wars news announced at the earnings call at all, to be honest with you. So basically, two particular Star Wars entities were name checked. The Book of Boba Fett as part of the upcoming marquee releases coming to Disney Plus. Also, the Hawkeye series was mentioned as part of that. And then also, when they got to talking about the parks experience, they name checked the Galactic Starcruiser experience. But no new details were given about those two particular things. So, that's unfortunate, but such is life. So really the things that I thought were most interesting from a Star Wars fan's perspective are facts about the Disney Plus subscription service and content coming in the future. And so this is what I wanted to flag for your potential attention to see if you think it's interesting too. So right now they are at 118 million subscribers for Disney Plus. That means they only added about a couple million subscribers from the last quarter. And I guess Wall Street isn't necessarily happy with that. Overall performance, I guess, wasn't quite where Wall Street was expecting it to be. And so the stock price is down after hours trading and all that fun stuff. But they actually are saying that they have a target of more than 200 million subscribers by the end of fiscal year 2024. So in other words, by the end of September of 2024. And that is the point at which they say they will break even with Disney Plus. In other words, it's not actually a profitable enterprise right now. They're spending more than they're making in order to get it off the ground. And at one point they said something to the effect of spending 8 to 9 billion in content creation for Disney Plus, which is outrageous. And I guess you would presume that that's specifically the content for Disney Plus directly, not necessarily the stuff that's coming to Disney Plus, which, by the way, they said that they are looking at their theatrical releases and essentially working out how to bring them to Disney Plus more quickly. So the theatrical window, I guess, is going to be shorter in the future, and they're going to get stuff on Disney Plus a lot faster because that is also going to help them with their whole subscriber situation, making sure that subscribers don't churn and that they can add new subscribers as quickly as possible. So I guess that means when Star Wars movies hit the theaters, you're going to have to go see them real quick because they're not going to be there for as long as we're used to them being there. I mean, they usually go from like December all the way through April, generally speaking. I mean, non-pandemic related and such. Anyway, that's one thing about the theatrical side that, is kind of fascinating and relates to Star Wars. And then on the series side of things, from a content production perspective, they talked about how the content pipeline was really affected by COVID and that they're finally just getting it back up to speed. And that has been a factor in them, not growing the subscriber base and seeing churn in the subscriber base. And so what they're actually looking forward to is July through September of 2022. So the final quarter of fiscal 22 for them, that is when they are projecting being at full speed ahead in terms of their content pipeline. In other words, by that time, by that particular quarter of the year, they expect to be running on all cylinders and having new content at the pace at which they initially thought they were going to be able to do before the pandemic hit. And as Star Wars fans, I think we have a pretty good sense of how that's affected the content that we're getting, because Mando Season 3 probably would have arrived sooner, Book of Boba Fett might have arrived sooner, Andor and Kenobi might have arrived sooner. So yeah, and just based on what the production schedule looks like now that they are back up to speed, it does look like 2022 is basically going to be wall-to-wall Star Wars. There's not going to be a week without something brand new from Star Wars. Or maybe 1 to 2 weeks in between series, between the Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi and the Bad Batch and Andor and Mando Season 3. Yeah, it's going to be a bonanza year for Star Wars storytelling content. And the fact that Disney is talking about their content pipeline being fully up to speed by that final fiscal quarter next year, that has implications for Star Wars as well, because it presumes that production is going to get started on more Star Wars series, which we would then see in 2023. I think it's probably a given that we'll see a Bad Batch Season 3 in 23, and because of the fact that Leslie Headland was getting a writer's room ready for The Acolyte many months ago, that seems like a prime candidate for a 2023 debut. If there's going to be a Season 2 of the Book of Boba Fett, which it seems like there might be, that could be in line for a 23 release. And that's not to say anything about the Ahsoka series, the Rangers of the New Republic if it ever gets going again, the Lando series, and on and on. So yeah, it is going to be, it already is an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan with the storytelling that we're getting. 2022 is going to be amazing, and apparently it is just going to be the beginning of a huge ramp up in storytelling for Disney Plus, but for our purposes, for Star Wars storytelling. And so that's what I've got for you coming out of the Disney earnings report yesterday and the investor call that accompanied it. And that is going to do it for this episode of the show. It just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for it as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2021 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.